Hello friends, welcome to GIST classes, and today we will discuss about the topic biological classification. Earlier Linnaeus proposed a two-kingdom system of classification with plant and animalia kingdoms that included all the plants and animals respectively. For example, algae, fungi, bacteria, bryophyta, pteridophyta, and spermatophyta in cases of plant kingdom, and Coelenterata, Porifera, Platyhelminthes, mollusca, etc. in Animalia kingdom, but a large number of organisms did not fall into either category. Hence, the two kingdom system of classification was found inadequate. In 1969, Whittaker proposed a five kingdom system of classification, which are Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plant, and Kingdom Animalia. The main criteria for classification used by him included cell structure, body organization, mode of nutrition, reproduction, and phylogenetic relationships. Here a table gives a comparative account of different characteristics of the five kingdoms, like Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plant, and Kingdom Animalia. Here you have to memorize these things, like in case the cell types of Monera are prokaryotes, and the other kingdoms like Protista, Fungi, Plant, and Animalia are comes under eukaryotes, and the cell wall of Monera are non-cellulosic, and in cases of Protista, that is single cell eukaryotes, the cell wall is present in some species, and in cases of fungi they are present with chitin. In plants they are present with cellulose, and in Animalia the cell wall is completely absent. Now the nuclear membrane is absent in Monera and present in Protista, Fungi, Plant, and Animalia kingdom. The body organization of kingdom Monera and Protista are cellular, and in cases of fungi they are multicellular. And in cases of plants and animals, like in cases of plants they form tissue and organ, and in cases of animal they form tissue, organ, or an organ system. The mode of nutrition is different in different kingdoms, like the Monerans follow autotrophic, that is chemosynthetic and photosynthetic, and heterotrophic in that is saprophytic and parasitic. Like in cases of Protista, that are single cell eukaryotes, they follow autotrophic, that is photosynthetic, and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. And in case of fungi, they follow heterotrophic, that is saprophytic and parasitic mode of nutrition. And in cases of plants, they are completely autotrophic, that is photosynthetic. And in cases of animals, like they are heterotrophic, holozoic, and saprophytic. Now we will learn brief about Kingdom Monera. Bacteria are the sole members of the Kingdom Monera. They are the most abundant microorganisms. Bacteria occur almost everywhere. They also live in extreme habitats such as hot springs, deserts, snows, and deep oceans, where very few other living forms can survive. Many of them live in or on other organisms as parasites. Bacteria are grouped under four categories based on their shape, like somewhere they are spherical in shape, they are called coccus, the rod shaped are called bacillus, the comma shaped are called vibrio, and the spiral shaped are called spirillum. Some of the bacteria are autotrophic, that is they synthesize their own food from inorganic substrates, but they may be photosynthetic autotrophic or chemosynthetic autotrophic. The vast majority of bacteria are heterotrophs, that is, they depend on either other organisms or on dead organic matter for food. Another group of bacteria like that are archaebacteria. These bacteria live in some of the other harsh habitats such as extreme salty areas, and they are called halophiles. And they are also found in hot springs, then they are called thermoacidophiles, and when they are found in marshy areas they are called methanogens. Archaebacteria differ from other bacteria in having a different cell wall structure, and this feature is responsible for their survival in extreme conditions. Methanogens are present in the gut of several ruminant animals such as cows and buffaloes, and they are responsible for the production of methane biogas from the dung of these animals. Now, eubacteria are true bacteria which are characterized by the presence of cell wall and a flagellum if they are motile. The best example of eubacteria are cyanobacteria, which are also called as blue-green algae. They have chlorophyll A similar to green plants and are photosynthetic autotrophs. Cyanobacteria are unicellular, colonial, or filamentous. The colonies are generally surrounded by gelatinous sheath. They often form blooms in polluted water bodies. Some of these organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells called heterocysts, example nostoc and anabina. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria oxidize various inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia and use these release energy for the ATP production. They play a great role in recycling nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and sulfur. Heterotrophic bacteria are most abundant in nature. Majority of them are decomposers. They are helpful in making curd from milk, production of antibiotics, fixing nitrogen in legume roots, etc. Some are pathogens causing damage to human beings, crops, farm animals, and pets. Cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker are well known diseases caused by different bacteria. Now, bacteria reproduce mainly by fission. Sometimes, under unfavorable conditions, they produce spores. They also reproduce by a sort of sexual reproduction by adopting a primitive type of DNA transfer from one bacteria to the other. The mycoplasma are organisms that completely lack a cell wall. They are the smallest living cell known and can survive without oxygen. Many mycoplasma are pathogenic in animals and plants. Here you can see a dividing bacterium which has a cell wall, the cell membrane, it's the DNA and the bacterium is dividing. Now the next kingdom is Protista. They are single cell eukaryotes and the members are primarily aquatic. Being eukaryotes, the protistans cell body contains a well-defined nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Some have flagella or cilia. Protista reproduce asexually and sexually by a process involving cell fusion and zygote formation. Some examples are like chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. Like chrysophytes are basically diatoms and golden algae, which are found in freshwater and marine environment, and they are microscopic. In diatoms, the cell wall forms two thin overlapping shells which fit together as in you have seen in a soap box. The walls are embedded with silica and thus the walls are indestructible. So, and the diatoms are the chief producers in the ocean. Now the next are dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates are mostly marine and photosynthetic. They appear yellow, green, blue, brown or red depending on the main pigments present in the cell. The cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on the other surface. Most of them have two flagella, one lies longitudinally and the other lies transversely in a furrow between the wall plates. Very often, red dinoflagellates, which undergo rapid multiplication, that they make the sea appear red. Toxins released by such large numbers may even kill other marine animals such as fishes. Now the next are euglenoids. Majority of them are freshwater organisms found in stagnant water, right? And instead of a cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer called pellicle, which makes their body flexible. And they have two flagella, a short one and a long one. And they are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight. When deprived of sunlight, they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other living smaller organisms. Interestingly, the pigments of euglenoids are identical to those present in higher plants. The example is of euglena. Now the next protestan is slime molds. They are saprophytic protists and they are unicellular and the body moves along the decaying twigs and leaves engulfing the organic material. And under suitable condition they form aggregation called plasmodium which may grow and spread over several feet. And during unfavorable conditions, the Plasmodium differentiate and forming fruiting body-bearing spores and they at their tips. And the spore possess two walls, and they are extremely resistant and survive for many years even under adverse conditions. The spores are dispersed by air currents. Now the next are protozoans. All protozoans are heterotrophs and live as predators or parasites, primitive relatives of animals. And there are mainly four major groups of protozoans. They are amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated, and sporozoans. In cases of amoeboid protozoans, these organisms live in fresh water, seawater, or moist soil. They move or capture their prey by putting out pseudopodia, that is also called false feet as an amoeba. And marine forms have silica shells on their surface, and some of them, such as entamoeba, are parasites, right? And the next example is flagellated protozoans. The members of this group are either free living or parasitic, and they have a flagellum, or you can say flagella. The parasitic body forms causes disease such as sleeping sickness, and the example is trypanosoma. The ciliated protozoans, they are basically aquatic and actively moving organisms because of the presence of thousands of cilia, and they have a cavity that opens to the outside of the cell surface, and the coordinative movement of rows of these cilia causes the water laden with food to be steered into the gullet, for example paramecium. The next example is sporozoans. Sporozoans are that included diverse organisms that have an infectious spore like stages in their life cycle, and the most notorious is Plasmodium, that is malarial parasite which causes malaria, a disease which has a staggering effect on human population. So these are the examples of protozoans. Thank you. Hope you like the video.